Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and this is the Astral Library. And I'm back with another monthly update for you guys because it is May, which means April is done, which means Magical Readathon is done, and I need to tell you all the books I read because I read a chunk of them. I have my stats right here. I read a total of 8 books. Now, I can't talk about 2 of them because they were for another video that's coming out after this, I think. 2 of those books we're gonna set aside. You'll hear me talk about them. You'll hear me give my ratings for them and my thoughts. One of them is not great, so if you're a hater, look forward to that, I guess. Let's go ahead and jump into the other 6 books that I read for the month. And I'm actually surprised I managed to read 6 books because I felt like I did nothing this month and I got nothing done. Here we are 6 books later. I do not own all of them physically, so we're gonna go through the ones I do own physically and then I'll talk about, or 2 books that I listen to but I do not own. So I'll talk about those at the end. So just starting off with the stack, I have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is a classic that I'm sure many of you have heard. It follows the March sisters from about, I would say a couple of them are in like their early childhood to their adulthood. We're following all 4 sisters and kind of like how their lives develop, mostly following our main character Jo, who like has this like aspirations to be a writer. That's the synopsis. I'm sure you've heard of it. It probably wasn't that great of a synopsis. However, I had to read this for the class I'm TAing for this quarter because we were looking at this novel through a transgender lens, and particularly reading how Louisa May Alcott herself may have been trans and how Jo plays with gender a lot. So that is the context in which I was reading this book, and you can see all my tabs here of all the moments that I found that like gender was really being played or that we had like certain gender expectations. Overall, reading the book through that lens and trying to like recontextualize this novel through a very like modern and crucial issue that we're like going on in our society right now, that was very, very cool. Overall though, this book, I end up giving it a 2-star rating. It's not a book for me. It's very much a slow moving book. I think it was fun working with it in the context I was, but if I was not taking this class and teaching this class and having to like talk to students about this books, I never would have picked this up on my own. And I think it's fine for what it is, but it just doesn't suit my particular reading taste. Not even necessarily my academic reading taste, like what I like to work with. This would not be the case. Do I recommend it? Sure. If you are someone who likes books from this era, this would be a great read. It's very easy to kind of like pick up pieces here and there. It's very slice of life, so if that's something you love, I think this is great. I also think the 2019 Greta Gerwig film adaptation of this, phenomenal. I love that one. That one makes me cry. Take that for what you will. The next book I actually listened to, and I should have done this for Serial Killer, but I just picked it up because I had it from the library and I needed to read it then because if I didn't, I was never gonna do it. And that is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. My God. Coming back to this world after so long, in between when I read the first one and just getting to see Victor and Eli and all the moving pieces. This was so good. Now, a lot of people complain that this book is like meandering and kind of like disjointed, which I can understand how people arrive at that because this is very much not the same type of story that we got in Vicious, in which we're following a pretty tight narrative, and even though we're switching back and forth between different points in time, we still are like very focused in like moving the story forward. Versus in Vengeful, we are going over a really large range of time, and not only are we like switching in and out between like present and past, but we're switching between characters. And I think that was phenomenal. I think the way this story built up to like what happens at the end was so engaging and so well done. I don't think this book is meandering at all. I think if you go into this expecting another Vicious, that's where your fault will be, but I do not think it's a fault of this book. I actually really enjoyed this book. I think my only gripe with it is that I wish we just got to sink a little bit deeper into a couple of moments that I cannot explain here because it would spoil for you guys, but I am so ready for the 3rd and final book to come out. I am so ready for it, even though this woman has decided to ditch her black and red colorway for this series for the American releases. And it's going to the black and white ones, which are cool, which I love. I think they're so cool, but I own the black and reds. So I'm either gonna have to have the mismatched third one, or I'm gonna have to rebuy the first two. I don't know where I'm gonna end up on that one yet, but I think it's rude as shit, okay? I like the black and reds. I love the black and whites, but I like the black and reds too, and I don't want to necessarily have to buy them just so they all match. But that's my 2 cents. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. It was a great read. I loved it. I loved it as much as I loved Vicious. I cannot wait for the finale. And I think it comes out this year too. We're gonna knock it off the serial killer list for good as soon as that book is in my hands. I'm gonna save that book for last. It's the next on my list, but I'm gonna save it for last because I really want to talk about that one. But the next book we're gonna talk about is If the Stars Go Dark by S.G. Prince. This is a young adult sci-fi in which we're following, oh god, I forgot their names already, which we're following our main character, Keller, who is a shooter. I don't actually know how to explain this. Imagine Star Trek and the Starfleet, right? In that we have people who like are on ships and then they partner up and they kind of like go out in space and like do things, right? Essentially it's like a police force and you are like set in pairs of two, one who flies a ship and one who is a gunner. And Keller is a gunner who is fresh from the academy and transfers into the most prestigious unit because he is like the best shot anyone's seen in like years. However, his partner, Lament, does not want him there. And that's because Lament's previous partner died in this like really freak accident that left a lot of like unresolved like mysteries and issues. And Lament just like absolutely does not want Keller there. And so it's about how the two of them not only kind of like grow closer together, but figuring out like what exactly happened to Lament's old partner and how is it maybe connected to this cult that is kind of like spreading throughout the universe. This was really, really cute. I didn't think I was going to like this as much as I did. The relationship between Lament and Keller is very sweet, very cute. I love their banter. Keller was such a fun character to like read the story through. Because he's not like the most like confident or like badass character. His like inner freakouts were hilarious. But he's so witty and he's like always got a line prepared. I loved him. He's great. This is also, I think, a really good read if like you're intimidated by sci-fi, because sci-fi is very light in this. It's a set dressing. Here's like sci-fi things and sci-fi world we're in, but it's not like hardcore sci-fi where you're like down in the trenches of like logic and computers and technology. That's not the case here. Not at all. And I don't think that's a detriment to this book. It is a standalone, so it's not a series. And because of that, it went a little too fast, in my opinion. I wish we got to just slow things down. It's not a very long book at all. It's like 300 something pages. No, I'm sorry. It's 360 pages. So again, not that long. I really, really enjoyed this. This is one of the books I did read for Magical Readathon because it was like an author recommendation, which I substituted for like a social media recommendation. It was cute. It's actually signed by the author because I saw them at WonderCon and they had just like left a whole bunch of signed copies at the little bookstore booth, and it's just so pretty. Look at it. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars because I thought it was cute. I enjoyed it, but I wish there was just a little bit more, not even necessarily in terms of like the sci-fi genre, but just in terms of like the story's pacing. It was just a tiny bit too fast for my liking. And the last physical book I have. I also read this one for Magical Readathon. And honestly, it's been my most anticipated read for a while because everyone who reads this book says it's so good, says it's amazing. And you know what? They were right. They were right. I am a believer. And that is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson? I think that's how you say it. Oh my god. This book is so good. It's so good. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you too much of what this book is about because this is a book that the way it unfolds and the way the story kind of progresses, I think is one of the best parts about this. So I don't want to give you a synopsis other than we are following a scholar trying to survive and also figure out a mystery. That's all I'm going to give you because this book is phenomenal. The way it's written is so good. It's so easy to follow. The narrator is really interesting. I love the way that the story kind of moves. It's so fluid. It's so engaging. I love when the narrator like comes back and turns it like you forgot about us. Hello. And they talk to you, but not in like a condescending way like in Nevernight, even though there's elements of like a Nevernight-y narrator and there's sometimes footnotes. It's so good. It's so good, guys. I cannot stress enough how much I love this book. It's such a fresh air and kind of like what's being published right now, because I feel like we've been getting a lot of the same thing. And that's not necessarily bad in any sense, because like we all have like things we love and that's why they're popular. But this was so unlike anything I've read in a while. Not only because of the character, not only because of the story and the world, but just the experience reading it. Like it felt so engaging, so fresh, and I was like hooked every moment. I had no idea where this book was going. The more I read it, I was like, wait, where? Hold on, I have this guess. Oh no, wait, that's not true. I was struggling to guess the turn every second of this book, and it was great. I severely enjoyed it. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I think it's the only 5 stars of this month. My only complaint is I would have liked a little bit more from our main character, Nima. More in the sense of like looking at the implications of having a Black woman at the center of the society and the amount of discrimination she gets, and kind of like looking at how that is like reflective. But Antonia Hodgson is not a Black woman, so I also understand why she may have not gone into that avenue at all. Dude, regardless, I still love this. It's amazing. I am obsessed. I would love the next book here and now. Thank you and please. Believe everyone who tells you this book is good. I've also heard the audiobook's really amazing, but I read it. I didn't listen to the audiobook at all, but I've heard that's also phenomenal. So whether you're an audiobook listener, whether you're an e-reader, whether you're a physical copy, get it in your hands and read it. Also because look at this. Look how shiny this book is, okay? Which once you read, the shininess makes so much sense. For the remaining 2 that I read this month, but I don't physically own, I'll be sure to throw up the book cover here as I talk about them. But the first book is This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. This is a book that I actually picked up because we were playing Tiny Bookshop on Sprints together. It was like a few weeks ago at this point. It's when we first played it. And if you don't know, in that game, you run a tiny little bookshop and you dock books and you recommend them to people who come in. And they're like actual real books that you're recommending. And the cool thing is, because they're real books, like you can look them up. And I was playing it, and I'll throw in a clip if I could find it. This Book Will Bury Me. After her father's death, Jane Away finds a vehicle for her grief and unanswered questions, true crime discussion boards. She'll do anything to chase down new leads on a cold case, but her new online friends are hiding their own secrets. Okay, hold on, wait, that actually sounds good. Hold please, I'm getting a book recommendation. And I read the synopsis like, oh wait, that sounds really, really cool. And so I ended up looking on Libby and there it was. This book was a lot of fun. I listened to this and the audiobook was phenomenal. I really like how the narrator unfolds a story. Jane is fucking crazy. Like, not only because like she's grieving and all that, but she's just, it's so wild. And I had a really fun time. I think it's a great look at, again, like the kind of true crime community and the toxicity that comes with it sometimes, but also very vibrant characters. I really liked the side characters in this. I thought they were a lot of fun, even as they're, again, kind of batshit crazy to do what they do, but I digress. A lot of fun. Recommend it. My gripe with it, I think the ending was a little too fast. Like, we spent a lot of the book leading up, and the ending was too quick, I think, to give us a fully satisfied feeling. I also guessed the twist pretty early on, and that's fine. I tend to guess a twist in thriller books like this. That's not a point I put against it. But when I guessed the twist and then I got that kind of disappointing ending that I feel like a lot of things like happened off screen and it's like quickly summed up for like the reader, I did not enjoy that. I thought that was pretty lame. Kind of on its way to being like a pretty solid 4 stars. In the end, I ended up giving this 3.5 stars because of that ending. But overall, I think it's a lot of fun. I'd be interested in if anyone read this versus listening to it, if the experience is maybe a little bit different. But I really, really enjoyed the audiobook. All right, and the last book I have for us today is another book I read from Magical Readathon. And this one is Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. I went into this book thinking I was gonna hate it. And that's because when this book was voted, the cover that was like there was this one, which reads very kind of like medieval romance, which I was not about. Really and truly, I was like, I don't know. And even though I like T. Kingfisher's writing, I know this, that they write so many different genres, so I didn't know what to expect with this. So Paladin's Grace follows our main character Stephen, who is a paladin whose god has died. And the thing about Stephen's order is that they were kind of like a berserker paladin, in that like they would get these like rages that would like send them into like huge fits during like battles, and the gods would be responsible for like calming them down. However, when that god dies, there's nothing to calm them down from these rages. And so Stephen, as well as the other people of his order, are kind of like a ticking time bomb. And because of that, Stephen has kind of like tried to lead a very secluded life. Him and the few remaining people of his order work for this other order that trying to like be low-key, try not to get too many battles, and they all have like a pact that if one of them goes crazy, they'll be put down. And so we're following Stephen as he's kind of just trying to live his life now that his gods die. As he's out doing one of his jobs, he runs into Grace, a woman being harassed by this other order that is known for like burning witches and shit. And so it's about their connection, and it's about them falling in love, and how Grace has been burned and scorned from love before, and how Stephen is afraid to fall in love because he feels like he has no future, because he is going to eventually succumb to this like overcoming rage. When I tell you, this book had me rolling in laughter. I had so much fun listening to this book because it was just hilarious. The characters, the situation, dying. I was dying. It was so cute. The way we get the name of this book was adorable. I literally remember like talking to my roommate one day. I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with this book. It's so funny. It's so cute. I had a great time. We'll probably end up buying this book so I can physically own it on my shelf. My only gripe with it is that maybe a little bit more than halfway through the book, we get into this kind of like, woe is me with our characters, and I was just a little over it by like that point in the book. I feel like we needed to move forward and move on from this, but it took a while. And the ending, this is another case where the ending felt a little rushed. I know it's a series and we're getting more in this universe, but I do not know if it's like a true series or if it's a serial series where we'll be following a different couple in the next book. But I'm really interested in the world. The world of this was phenomenal. Like the first page gripped me because we start with a dying god, and like that's just the tone and like the set dressing. It's kind of a red herring because the book is not nearly as dark as like that opening sequence, but it has me hooked and I want to know more. So I will probably be picking up the next book in this series because I hope we learn more about the world. I hope it's a prequel. I want to see what this world was like before the god died, because I know what happens after. It's cute, it's sweet, and it's a little heartbreaking, but I want to know more about that. Like I said, this was so cute and so funny. I highly recommend picking it up. Like, even if you're like put off by the original cover or whatever, please try it. It was so cute and so fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, my only gripes were too fast of ending and just the little bit too long of woe is me. Other than that, I still really, really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Would read again, would recommend, and definitely will be buying to pick up and put up on my shelves. All right, but these are all the books that I read in April that I could talk about. Again, there's 2 more here because I read 8 in total. You only got 6. You'll have to wait for the other 2 next week. Sorry, not sorry. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's gonna go ahead and be it from me. If you liked it, please consider leaving a thumbs up and a comment down below. What was the best thing you read this month? Or what was the book that surprised you the most? For me, of course, it was Paladin's Grace. I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought I was just gonna kind of like suffer through it, but I really, really enjoyed it. Like, surprisingly really enjoyed it. I was telling a lot of people about it. If you don't know what to say and you kind of want to support this video, go ahead and leave me a purple heart emoji for Paladin's Grace, because the purple on that cover just catches my eye every time. And also in Raven Scholar, both of those are purple based, so leave me a purple heart, and then if you leave me that, I'll comment it back. But that's gonna go ahead and be it for me. I will see you guys next time. Bye.